Hey y'all, welcome to Veggie Farming. I'm Stacy. I'm in Zone 8B, North Texas, and it's officially summer. It's about to be the last week of June, and this is my first full garden tour of the season. So I'm going to show you around, show you what's still alive, talk about some of the changes I'm going to make as I switch up things for the seasons. So let's get ready to take a walk. Starting right here in the corner by the door, I just have some seed starting supplies, just kind of a junk area right here. And these are my geraniums that I started from seed indoors, and they are doing nice. Right up here is a Meyer lemon, and it has not done well at all. I think I've had it for about 2 or 3 years. You see these little curly leaves? This thing was infested with aphids at the beginning of the season, and it never really bounced back. And I don't know if I want to keep dealing with it. It's just high maintenance and not producing anything. These are my 2 blueberry plants, and this one was full of flowers this season, but all of the berries were really small. I had one ripe one there, and it almost feels like it didn't get pollinated. But this one is actually doing much better. I don't know if you can see, covering up from the birds. Has some really large berries on there, and it is time for me to harvest those. So this one has quite a few berries in there, and I just need to harvest. This is my loquat tree right next to it. It has never produced. It's still hanging on, but I can't say that it's thriving. Green stalk is not fully planted out, but I have some long beans, and I had those miniature roses at the top here, calendula that needs to be pulled out, sage, and then pepper plant that's getting pretty large, some basil in there, and another pepper plant. And then right over here, let's see, it's my butterfly pea. It's on a trellis. You can see one flower there, a couple of others. I'm going to take those off. And it has outgrown the trellis. I put some bamboo stakes up here to try to redirect it. And then right over here behind this bed, I have 2 honeyberries. This one, and then the one next to it is a little smaller. And that bed back here is my mint bed. So it is thriving. Time to harvest, cut all of that back. Last season, those mints are so many different flavors all together. I don't even know what is what. Cut it all back and dried it. And every time I have that mint tea, it's almost like I like to call it like a fruit punch flavored mint tea. It is delicious. So if you have mint, just mix all the varieties together, and it is really delicious. I will come back here. This is what is left of my zinnias hanging on. They look really nice at the top. That's where all the healthy new growth is. But right down here, just pretty much dead. Well, not dead, just kind of diseased. And like powdery mildew all on the little ones. So this is going to be on its way out. And I am going to replace it with these canna lilies. I'm gonna put these canna lilies in this little bed right here. So I think that'll be pretty. Let's go right over here. We'll look at these beds in the middle. These are just little ornamental evergreen trees. These were some elderberry cuttings for one of my husband's co-worker. Motherwort plant right here in the middle. You can see that eucalyptus. And that's just a lemongrass plant. This is basil in here. I am about to start some more seeds, and I'm going to protect them in there with this kind of shaded box. And right in here, sweet potatoes at different points. These are already planted. These were pulled off of these sweet potatoes here, and the slips are growing roots. And then these, I just left the sweet potatoes in there after I pulled the first slips off, and it just went crazy and started growing more slips. So I'm going to take those off and get them planted. All right, let's come around here. And this is on its way out as well. This was the smooth criminal squash. And I think I'm going to take those out. I have one in there that I'm saving for seed. But I think I'm done with squash in this bed, and I am going to replant that with something else. Right over here. Vincas, they can handle the summer heat all summer, and they stay bright and pretty. And let me show you this Vigo garden bed back here. Just as Miss Linda, the New Orleans gardener, had predicted. So this was lemongrass and strawberries, and what you see now is lemongrass. I have basically a lemongrass bed, but underneath here, the strawberry plants are still alive. Let's see if I can pull this back. They are thriving. They look nice, healthy. You can see this one is throwing off runners. They aren't putting on any more berries right now. And I have only filled this bed up one time. So I have not had to water it. I have not had to do anything. It's self-watering. It has taken care of itself. It definitely is living up to its name. Now let's take a look at the squash bed. I'm letting this run out here because if it wants to root, I want to let it root. I'll show you what's going on in here. I have a couple of squash. So this is Seminole pumpkin. I think there are a couple of others in here. And here's one here. They're at different stages. And another one right there. And then this is the largest one right up there. Right along here, this plant right here is actually a climbing rose that I have in an open bottom pot. So once I pull these squash off here, I'm going to go ahead and train that rose back up over this arch, because there's not much more time for this. If you can see, everything in here has squash vine borer damage. It looks like a wasteland in here. I don't even know how any of this is still alive at this point. I had beans in these towers. It got completely shaded out, didn't make it. I'm hoping that I get something out of those Seminole pumpkins because I did see one over here, and this is what I was afraid of happening. See, something has taken a bite out of that. All right, so over here I have ginger in this pot. I'm trying to put this in the shadiest area because last year I learned that ginger likes shade in my garden. It gets so hot it can't handle that full sun. This is stinging nettle. I cut this way back. It was taking over this entire corner. You couldn't even walk back here. And here's another pot of ginger. It's coming in. And then these are rudbeckia flowers. Have a rabbit that I cannot get out of here. And the last time I put these in the ground, they were eaten overnight. So this is a honey jar jujube tree. And it has some fruit on it. You can see not hanging off of there. And you also see this brick in here and these stakes. This tree blew over so many times that eventually I had to find a way to keep it upright. It's top heavy, and so the pot is not really heavy enough at the bottom without that brick, and it was blowing over in every storm. So far this has kept it upright. And this is my gladiolus coming in. And this is a crinum lily. And right here is my miwa kumquat. And it's flowering. Starting to put on a couple of fruits. Looks like it's going to do a lot better this year. This is my hardy hibiscus. And I look like I'm just about a few days away from this just exploding with flowers. And these are giant pink flowers that it puts on. And this is my herb bed. It is jam-packed this year. So this is blue sage. This is marshmallow. Right in here, lavender, echinacea. Let's see if I can find. Almost the whole backside is rosemary. And I have a mullein plant in here also. You can see that. So this bed is doing well this year. And right over here I have Mexican sunflower. Let's see, I think there's one almost open there. But it's been blooming. It's on its way up. Right behind it. You see that? I'm kind of using it as shade right now. Put it back here so it could get some shade. This is my bay laurel tree. And these petunias melting in the heat. They were so pretty when they were bright and vibrant. But yeah, it's time for me to take all of this out. This is lantana at the top. It can handle the sun, so that'll stay. This is another bay laurel I found at the nursery and just could not pass it up. So, and then this is a palm. And right at the bottom, I added a couple of creeping Jenny plants, and they have just taken over the bottom of this. And I really like the way this looks. Just spilling out of the pot with the palm. It's been doing good so far. New leaf coming. And then right back here along the fence, I have some coleus. and some caladium. And this hiding right here is my Mother's Day gift. My son has a job. He bought this with his own money, so I have to make sure I keep it alive. This is a hydrangea and got burned up. You can see crispy leaves. Too much sun in my yard. Still trying to find a good spot for it, but I see new healthy leaves coming in, so this might be the right spot. And impatiens, sun patiens, so they can handle the sun. They still like a lot of water though. And these shrubs in the back are perennials called guara. And they put up these big pink flowers at the top when they bloom. They look like little floating butterflies. Banana plant, we'll see how that's doing. I just got that. And we will save the garden house for last. But it's doing well. I had to put up shade cloth. I'm using burlap this year, shade cloth. And then on the other side of the garden house, pretty much mirrors. I have the guara on this side also. Sun patience again. The palm with the creeping Jenny. See how that's spilling out like that? I just love looking at that. It's so green and healthy. And this is a canna. This is a flower called an Angelina, I think. But it's doing good in the heat so far. These pretty petunias, not much longer for them. They can't handle the heat either, but I thought these were really pretty. Have another pot over there. This is one of my moringa trees. I'm going to insert what this looked like when I planted it. I didn't know if it was going to make it, but it definitely was worth a try, and it's doing well. That is daylily in the middle, another Angelina. I may be saying that wrong. I'll try to put the name. Okra plants. I think these are Louisiana long pod. And this is okra as well. 2 motherland okra plants. This one actually has some okra on it. This was my garlic bed that I harvested, and I have them here drying out. Look at this one. I think this one might have been the biggest one. If I could show you, it's bigger. Almost can't even close my hand around it. It's so big. And then right over here, I have a native plant called a Texas rock rose. Puts out these little pink rose-like flowers. And behind it, I have some pineapple sage. Another moringa tree. And then back here, I also have another Mexican sunflower. And this is a different type of Mexican sunflower. It's the kind that you grow from cuttings. Another rosemary plant back there. Banana plant. Black mission fig. I don't know if you can see. Look how wide that's spreading. Still no figs. And this is Roselle. It's my donut peach. And this is Olympian fig here. This is the first figs I've had in my garden ever. And there are two on there. I thought I saw one in the back there, but as you can see, it's along that fence line. It's spreading as well. So squirrels, whatever, made it easy to get to that. I think this one is the donut nectarine. My donut nectarine and donut peach, they got flowers, but they did not do well this year. I had like one fruit on each of them. I'm thinking about root pruning these in the fall. So I'll take them out of the pots, prune the roots, and then put them back in. Beans, another roselle, and these are some gladiolas. And cosmos. I hope these bloom. They look so big and healthy. These white plants are overgrown Dusty Miller. And right here, I have a mullein. So this is huge. And this is, I think this is the lane jujube tree. Plenty of fruit on this one this year also. So this one is doing well. These fruits are really maturing. You can see all the way up to the top. And then in this green stalk this year, I decided to plant sweet potatoes. And so you can see them out of the bottom here, trailing. And then also I have cucumbers in here. And I have this Love Lies Bleeding Amaranth. I have a couple of those right up here at the top. This little plume it puts on, I don't even know what it's called. It's just so pretty. Right. Then back here in this corner, I have more of the Mexican sunflowers, the kind that you grow from cuttings. And then tucked in the shade here, have flowers, impatiens, and alocasia. And they are being completely shaded by this elderberry. Let me show you what this looks like. Huge. I'm trying to keep it cut back at the bottom so that I can actually see what's going on around it. I don't want anything sneaking underneath here and living, so I keep it cut back so you can see what's going on underneath there. But lots of berries eaten by the birds and still plenty ripening. I have harvested some. I've been trying to harvest them as they turn. And then right down here in this little pot, I have some catnip and borage. So this is what the trellis is looking like in this bed this year. On each side, I have a roselle plant, and those are growing in nicely. And then some snapdragons here, echinacea in the corner. And then right over here, I have some kind of maitake serpent melon. I think that's what that says. Metke serpent melon, some kind of serpent melon. During Seedmas, I got seeds from Teagsy and Broke Farmer. I think Broke Farmer sent these, so thank you. And these are, I would say, something like Armenian cucumbers, so they'll grow through the heat and produce. And then this plant is a crossvine. Let's see. A tangerine beauty crossvine. And so this is going to stay on here. This is going to be permanent, so I'm going to permanently have this trellis up from now on. Usually I take it down in the fall, but I'm going to keep it up. And I'm hoping to snake this right up the sides. And right in the middle, I have blue sage. And then I planted some long beans. I don't even know what kind. I think I just got some seeds from Dollar Tree. Made a trellis, and they are loving it. They made it to the top of the trellis, and now they don't know where to go. So in this chicken coop, there are tomatoes, and there is a giant artichoke plant. You know, I don't know whether it's actually a artichoke or a cardoon. I planted both. One of them made it, one of them didn't. Eventually, I am going to take this off and let the artichoke or cardoon just flourish outside of this chicken coop. I have the tomatoes in there now that I'm protecting, and I had the burlap on there, using it as a shade cloth. I need to reposition that, but it's like right on top of the roof. On this side, I think that's still, no, this is the Indian snake cucumber on this side. I grew it last year too, and so it can take the heat as well. So that one is a snake cucumber, snake melon it's called, and this is a snake cucumber. Another roselle plant. And this is the zinnias. It's starting to get dark on me. Let's see. I'll see if I can show what's in the garden house. So let's go in there. Hopefully it's not too dark. Right across the front, calendula. And right here on the right when you walk in, it's a bean plant. And I just have all kind of seeds thrown in here. So there are, let's see, there's thyme in there, carrots, just trying to cover the soil, throwing seeds in. More calendula on this side in the front. And I also had a whole row of chamomile. None of that ever flowered. I think it was just too hot. I'm leaving it. Hopefully it eventually will. And these are tomatoes. See some worm damage. And I've been seeing worm poop. So it's really time for me to get in here and do some maintenance. Tomatoes. So I'm suffering now with the consequences of, if you saw my last video, how I planted everything out late. These tomatoes are suffering. See all these nice, pretty flowers. Clusters of flowers. Not a tomato in sight. These flowers just keep turning yellow and falling off. So those are my consequences for planting too late. It is just too hot. It's too hot. They can't handle the heat, and so they're dropping flowers. On the other hand, peppers, eggplants. This is a Rosa Bianca eggplant, and those are starting to come in. I am going to do a full tour of all of the peppers and talk about the varieties But for now, this is what it's looking like in here. We're gonna do a harvest and talk about peppers. I know I'm growing some unique peppers this year. This is just a lipstick pepper. More tomatoes with flowers. And in here, I think there is another Rosa Bianca that is ready to go. Yes. I don't know if you all can see her, but she is ready to come on. I'm going to pull these tomatoes out. Oh, look, there's one. Tiny, misshapen. What I will say is I like these plants. These are all dwarf determinate varieties that I grew this year. The plants seem pretty strong. I think I would have had good results if I had planted them on time. So I will plant them again next year. I don't think I'm going to plant any more for fall, but I'll see. I have time, and I could even just use some of the suckers off of these plants to root. Here's one with a nice, healthy looking sucker. Could just plop that in water, but we'll see. And so this is what this is looking like. And these are the burlap curtains that I put together as shade cloth. Really, it's just burlap sheets of burlap rather, that I folded over and put on a curtain rod. I had to put these zip ties at the top because every time the wind blows, the curtains were sliding back and forth. And so those are just to kind of help keep it in place. But I think we've got everything. Like I said, I didn't spend much time in the garden house. I'm going to harvest soon, so I'm going to take you with me and we'll harvest and talk about the peppers in here. So thanks for walking the garden with me. And I hope you are having a nice, safe summer, staying cool. Right now it is almost 9 o'clock. It's 85 degrees here. The wind is blowing.